Way, 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 way. Wake up with Wake. We'll get into it in a little bit. But for now, well, I guess like anything in life, you stick around or you move on. You stick around or you move on. All right, we'll get into it in a bit, but not right now. Okay. So there's three categories. There's the genie of how. The genie of how. I think there's three categories. There might be four. There's the genie of how. There's the billionaire of what? I'm going to slow it down. Slow it down. The genie of how? The billionaire of what? And who is the third? Who is the third? Okay. The genie of how? The billionaire of what? Soften into it. Soften into it. We'll get there when we get there. First things first, as they say. First things first, as they say. The genie of how. You go to the genie of how because the genie of how does something cool. The genie takes any what you bring to it and brings it to life. The genie of how essentially says, well, don't worry about how. Don't worry about how. I got you covered. You just tell me what you want, and I'll figure out how to get it. Pretty self-explanatory. Then you have the billionaire of what? The billionaire of what essentially asks you what would you do if you already had $1 billion? And at the root of it, who would you be if you already had $1 billion? So the billionaire of what is actually secretly the billionaire of who? Okay. Billionaire is all about identity. Now, there's a caveat to this, which is not it is asking what you would do at the heart of your time. What you would do at the heart of your existence. So it's not about saying, oh, well, my billionaire would buy a $400 million yacht and travel the world by yacht and stay at the da-da-da-da-da and buy these 15 cars and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Great. That's prefaced in, okay? It doesn't matter what you've purchased. Great. You're a billionaire. You've purchased all these things. billionaire of what is asking, what would you actually do with your time and energy if you had $1 billion? What would you actually do with your time and energy? Not what would you buy? We get it. You'd buy a lot of cool stuff. Not where you'd go. We get it. You'd go to a lot of cool. Not where you'd stay. What you would do when you wake up in the morning. You wake up in the morning and you're a billionaire. You might wake up on a lavish yacht. You might wake up in a fancy Airbnb. You might wake up in your multi-million-dollar mansion. You might wake up in your little cabin. You might wake up in the back of your WUWW bus. But when you wake up, who are you? And what do you do? It's a question most people don't think about because they're so aspirational. They're so trying to get there. What if you bring there here? Here you are. Great. And again, you can get caught up in the lavish luxuries. Oh, I would order the room service from da-da-da. I would go out to eat at the great. I understand that everything that you're going to be doing is going to be much more lavish and expensive. But what do you do? What do you do with the heart and soul of your humanity? What do you do with your human? What do you do with the meat suit you're wearing? You're a soul. You're a spirit inside of this human body. What do you do? What do you, the spirit, the soul, do with the human? And this gets to the heart of it all. What do you actually do? And this gets into the intangibles. This gets into the things that don't involve money, that don't require money. Do you drink a glass of water? Do you meditate? Do you read a book? Do you go for a swim? Do you go for a jog? Do you write a chapter of your novel? Do you paint a painting? Do you write a postcard? Do you prepare your workshop? Do you write your lecture? Do you build your Lego castle? Do you watch YouTube? Do you drink your aloe juice or do you drink your matcha tea? Do you walk over to the juicer and drop celery through it until there's 16 ounces of celery juice sitting in front of you? Do you make coffee? Do you do a downward facing dog and a forward fold? Do you do the jumping jacks or a split? Do you jump rope? Do you call your mom? Do you write a poem? Do you pray? Do you do the dishes from the night before? Do you go to the potter's wheel and make a mug? Do you do pull-ups and push-ups? Do you visualize your day? What do you do? Who is your identity and what does your identity do? You get to know that billionaire well. Because the interesting thing about that billionaire is they became a billionaire by having the identity of a billionaire. They became a billionaire through the actions of a billionaire. What do you do? What do you produce? Because here's the thing. Here's the secret they could have told you a long time ago. The artist creates. The billionaire produces. See, the only difference between the two is the billionaire knows how to sell the creations, knows how to produce them, sell them, profit from them. So what does the billionaire you do? How did the billionaire you get here? The possibilities are endless. And it's unique for each individual. But what is not unique is having a passion, having a love. And what is not unique is monetizing that passion and that love, because monetizing is simply magnetizing and realizing on this earth. Monetizing is simply energizing, magnetizing, and realizing on this earth. It's not about money. It's not about the $1 billion. That's just symbolic. Money is just paper. Billion is just a number. What's truly going on is energizing, magnetizing. And realizing. And not just that. There's much more going on. Energizing, magnetizing, realizing, energizing, magnetizing, synergizing, galvanizing. That's what's going on. To monetize is to engage, is to participate, is to commune, is to connect. Now, the billionaire of what and the genie of how have a conversation. The genie of how says to the billionaire of what, long before the billionaire of what was a billionaire, long before the billionaire was a billionaire manifest, back when the billionaire was very poor, technically. And the genie of how says to the billionaire of what, hello, welcome. I am here to realize any dreams you have. You simply tell me what, and I will resolve the how. And the young, poor billionaire of what says, Well, what? I would. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? I tell you the what, and you figure out the how. And the genie says, you tell me what you want to do. And I will resolve the how. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Says the billionaire. What do I want to do? I want to. I don't know. I think I want to be a teacher. And the genie of what says, what do you specifically want to do? I work my magic from specificity. The more specific you are, the more your dreams come true. And I'll say it again, the more specific you are, the more your dreams come true. And the genie told a story. The genie said, once upon a time, a young girl came to me and said, I want to be a potter. And I said to her, be specific. Be as specific as you can possibly be specific. Be so specific that your specificity is exhausted by its own specificity. Go home, get a piece of paper and a pen. Don't do anything for the next 24 hours except for eat, drink, sleep, and write down as specifically as possible what you want. And the little girl comes back to the genie the next day. And she says, I want to learn how to make mugs and bowls and plates. I want to make a bowl, a mug, and a plate every day. I would like to sell my bowl, my mug, and my plate every day. I would like to sell my mug for $40, my bowl for $50, and my plate for $60. And I would like to increase my prices by 20% every year due to my increased skills. And the genie responds, that is much more specific. But I will tell you this, and this is very important, he says to the little girl. I do not guarantee outcomes. I do not guarantee outcomes. That's not my magic. I cannot control the external world. That is not my magic. So I must tell you, on that first day, when you make your pot and your bowl and your mug, they may not sell for $40, $50, and $60. In fact, they may not sell. What is my magic is that I ensure that you do what you say you want to do. So what I can guarantee as your genie is that every day you will make a mug, a plate, and a bowl and put it in the marketplace. Now tell me, is there anything else you want every day? Anything else you want to do every day? And the little girl thinks, okay, so your magic is that you will make whatever I want to do come true, but not necessarily what I get back for what I do, but what I do. Correct? Okay, well, one thing I would like to do, says the girl, is I would like to read one book a week. About how and where to sell pottery. And the genie says, done. You will make a bowl, a plate, a mug every day, and you will read 1/7 of a book every day. And the girl gets excited and goes, oh, okay, what else do I want to do? What will make... The genie can't help me with the outcome, but I can help me with the outcome if the genie helps me with me. And the genie says, exactly. So the girl thinks, what else would I need to do to make that happen? girl says, well, I think I'd like to spend 15 minutes every day just making my shop look a little bit more inviting, just a little prettier. Every day, I want to spend 15 minutes making it just a little better. And the genie says, done. And the girl says, I need to let people know about my pottery. So I want to spend an hour a day dedicated to connecting with other humans about pottery. I'd like to spend half of that time letting people know about my pottery. And I'd like to spend half of that time appreciating other people's art. And the genie says, done. Every day you will spend a half an hour letting the world know about your pottery, and another half an hour showing others gratitude for their art. Is there anything else that you would like to do? He asks the little girl. And the little girl says, so you can do anything? You can... And Genie says, yeah, I can help you do anything you want to do. The little girl says, well, I'd like to, every day when I wake up, I'd like to go for an hour-long walk with the trees and the streams and the birds, and contemplate the 3 pieces I'll make that day. And the genie says, done. And the girl goes on and on and on and on, specifying her specificity. Until finally she says, thank you. And day after day after day after day after day, the genie takes care of the how. And the girl takes care of the what. And in the tale, the genie tells us the girl got all she ever wanted and more. got all she wanted and more. She learned many lessons along the way. She learned that the getting was far less meaningful than the giving. She learned that the getting was far less meaningful than the journey. And she learned that the getting was deeply meaningful, and deeply validating, and deeply a part of the whole. She learned that it was a part of the whole, and certainly not the whole. And she learned another lesson, which is that life has a way of being exponential. She learned that the first day that she made her plate, her mug, and her bowl, she made $0. The second day she made $0. And the third day she made $0. In fact, she made $0 for a very long time. Until one day a mug was purchased. And she wrapped it up in newspaper and wrapped it up in newspaper. Wrapped that up in newspaper and put it in a box. Put it in the mail and sent it off. But as the months and months went on, she sold a bit here, a bit there, a bit here, a bit there. And then years in, someone told someone who told someone until everyone knew about her pottery. And she sold and sold and raised her prices and sold and sold. Raised her prices again and sold and raised her prices again and sold until she was sold out. And the mug and the plate and the bowl that she once sold for $40, $50, and $60, she now sold for $800, $1,000, and $1,200. Something she never intended, and something she never dreamed of, and something she never asked of, and something she never expected from the genie. And years later, when she, to her great surprise, sees the genie, she gives the genie a hug and says, Thank you so, 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 so much. And the genie says, you did it all. You did it all. I simply removed the possibility of you giving up. The genie said to her, is there anything else that you want? And she says, I couldn't possibly ask. I couldn't possibly ask you for anything more. You've already given me so much. And the genie says, I'm the genie of how. You can always, always ask me for more. And once again, she says, how could I ask you for more? I make $4,000 a day. I make $120,000 a month. I make $1.4 million a year. How could I ask you for more? And the genie replies, it's not about the money. It's never been about the money. What do you want? That which you want may make more money. But that which you want is that which you want. And remember, to monetize is not to make money. To monetize is to energize, to magnetize, to realize, to synergize, and to galvanize. So he says to the girl, now a woman in her 30s, what I want you to do is go home, drink water, eat food, sleep, and take a pen and a paper and write down exactly what you want. Specifically, as specific as you can. And she does just that. She goes home and she goes inward. And she asks, what do I want? When she draws a blank, she asks, what do I want to energize in this world? What do I want to magnetize in this world? What do I want to realize in this world? What do I want to galvanize in this world? What do I want to synergize in this world? And she realizes that to make a bowl and a plate and a mug was only and is only a stepping stone in her journey. While she wants to continue, she also wants to teach others. She wants to teach others how to make mugs and bowls and plates. And she also wants to teach others to do what they love, even if it isn't making bowls and plates and mugs. So she writes up as specifically as possible. She writes up as specifically as possible a workshop on how to make cups and bowls and plates, and she writes up as specifically as possible a workshop on how to do what you love. She writes all about each step of the way. And she writes the names and she writes the scripts. And she writes the price. And she writes down all of the people that she wants to help for free. And she writes down all of the people who can afford these 2 workshops. And with specificity after specificity after specificity, she goes to the genie, and the genie says, well done. Is there anything else? And she says, well, there's one more thing. I'd like to I'd like to give away a mug. I'd like to give my mug away every day for the next year. I'd like to give away my mug. To whoever writes the most beautiful poem about the mug every day. And Jeannie says, done. And as you can imagine, what unfolds is quite extraordinary. She gives her workshop away for free. To tens of thousands of students across the globe. Young students who would not be able to afford her course on pottery or her course on love. But then, of course, many of those tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of those who love her and love her pottery buy her workshop. And what she once thought was the top, beyond her imagination, her $4,000 a day and her $1.4 million a year, grew exponentially. By giving away a mug every day, she may have lost $800 a day. But she galvanized a movement. Poetry came pouring forth, poem after poem after poem after poem. And so she created a collection. She created an anthology. She created a publishing house. And published those poems, all those poems, side by side, with fine prints of her pottery. And they sold like wildfire. Bringing money and wealth and notoriety to all of these poets and to herself. She had no idea. And her 2 courses became 6, and her 6 courses became 15, and all of a sudden, she couldn't believe it. But from those 3 sources, her $1.4 million a year was now $183 million a year. And within 7 years, She was a billionaire. And it all began with the simple want to make a mug, a plate, and a bowl every day. And it expanded exponentially when the genie asked, "Okay, now what do you truly want?" It was never a matter of just selling those 3 objects daily. It was doing what she loved, sharing what she loved with others. And sharing the love of what you love with others. Sharing pottery and poetry. She was the billionaire of what? Made possible by the genie of how. To be continued in a moment. Hmm. Next, the missing piece of the story. Is the dragon of distillation. The dragon breathes in fire and breathes out water. Dragon of distillation breathes in fire and breathes out water. Now, what makes the dragon of distillation different from most of us? Most of us breathe in fire and breathe out smoke. Breathe in fire and burn our throats. Breathe in fire and don't do too well with it. And that's often what gets us to stop, to give up, to stop doing what we love, to stop doing what we want to do. We stop doing what we want to do when it gets hard or when people are mean. We stop doing what we want to do when we don't get the results